Hey everyone, and welcome to 1v1 me, bro. And I mean, you see who's on the other side of the screen. It's gonna be a wild episode today. We've got the CoD Phenom, the Stage 5 Major Champion, Cold War Breakout, and the Rokkr Rookie Standy on the show today. Brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, bro, I'm pumped, man. I mean, we got Vanguard coming out this week. We're kicking into gear, and I mean, I'm sure it keep you busy. I have to say the least. So I'm looking forward to it. But to all you guys out there, the viewers, I mean, welcome in. Obviously, this is 1v1 me, bro. It's the kind of the game show, talk show, podcast experience, I guess, best way to put it. Off the rip here, I mean, this is 1v1 me, bro. We kick off with a few icebreaker questions. In CoD, another esport, this sport, do you have a favorite 1v1 of all time? It could be your own 1v1 also.
I think just like recently, ones that come to mind are probably like the ones I've been seeing on Twitter, like Scump. I think it's Scump versus Celium, like the 5v5 Black Ops 4. I think that one's like a pretty good 1v1. It's like 5v5, right? Last map.
Literally, yeah, on frequency.
And there's like another one. I forget who is between, but I know that one was like really crazy, at least like on land and stuff. And like seeing it be like Scump 2 is like pretty cool. So that's probably off the top of my head, like the best 1v1 that I could think of. And
then the next one, I always love this one. So this one's basically, what's the movie you've seen the most in your life? Not the best movie, not your favorite movie, but the one you've seen the most.
Probably between like the Polar Express, like every single Christmas. Like every single Christmas, like since you're like 5, you see the Polar Express. Maybe if not that, like the B movie, like Over the Heads, like just kid movies, like got like that kind of stuff that you just see legendary. Kind of in school, like.
Yes.
Like probably the Polar Express, honestly. I feel like I see that movie a lot when it's Christmas time.
That's hilarious. I remember when that thing came out, it like took over the world. Everyone was going nuts over that movie. I don't know why I always got like weird vibes from the Polar Express as a kid. Like I don't know if it like scared me or what it was about it, but like I feel like when I think back on it, I'm like weird vibes on the Polar Express.
It's kind of weird, like a train just showing up outside your house. You're just getting on the train, you just taking to some magical place.
Like facts. Oh my word, literally. Like yeah, I don't know. It was always giving me weird vibes. But the final one is, if you had to survive on a deserted island with 3 CoD pros, I mean, who would be the 3 you choose? I mean, you got to survive out there.
Yeah, I feel like my first one, Crim6, I feel like that dude, like, he's going to be killing the animals. Like, he's doing all the hunting. Like, he's going to be gunning people down, like, doing whatever he needs to get food. Then I feel like
he's the locked and loaded 101. Yeah, I mean,
if there's a bear right in front of him, like, he's taking that bear down. Like,
boom, dead. Yeah.
And then number 2... Number 2, I'd probably have to bring Attach, just because, like, the vibe, like, the duo. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be there. It's going to be fun. And then for the last one, I feel like I'd bring Major Maniac. I feel like I'd bring Mike.
Oh, there you go.
He's just, like, he's vibey, too. He's going to get stuff done. Thinks outside the box. So, like, he'll know how to build a little house on the island, a little canopy.
Starting the fire, you know, like, getting things going, getting it cooking. I love it. I love it. No, that's great for sure. So, with that said, now I guess we can get into our first little name that segment of the show before we kind of talk about your come up and everything else. But how this works is we're going to do like one CoD history moment off the rip here, and then we'll do like a video game trailer. We have like some gun sounds and things like that. So basically with the CoD history moment, you'll get 50 points for naming the game. You'll get 50 points for naming the event, and then 50 points for naming the team. And just kind of giving the best idea what the moment actually is, the teams that were involved. We'll see what happens.
That's gonna be hard.
I mean, you know, sometimes it's tough, sometimes they're not.
It's kind of hard to choose so it depends how far we're going back, you know? Like,
right, we'll see what happens, all right? So, off the rip here, this is moment number 1.
In this exact scenario earlier on today, can he produce the goods once again? Celium with 30 seconds left. TJ spots him cross. Now Celium has the information he needs. Time ticking. Players tagged. And Celium gets the pick! Celium! A huge clutch from him!
Versus TJ.
Anything coming to mind?
That was definitely NMW.
Yep.
So it's versus OGLA. Yeah. OGLA, FaZe,
do you know the map or like the situation or anything along those vibes? Anything coming to mind?
Nah, honestly, I don't know. Maybe Gunrunner? I think it was Arklov?
So yeah, it was on
Wait, I remember now. Arklov, he's on the bomb. And
dude,
like they're on the rock, and isn't like TJ like snaking the bomb a little bit or like pulling up, and then he guns him off the bomb and defuses?
Yeah, so basically what happened is like
it's like a 1v1 on Arklov.
Selvi, Tej, and Tej basically just had to play some time, but he tries to pull up on Sel.
Yeah,
and kind of gun him on the rock. And kind of one of the iconic ones because OGLA was like in the finals. So I think it was like right after they brought Chino in to start, and round 11. 1v1, Tej, Sel, and Sel clutched it. And it was in the Florida home series.
He's like in the trench, in that little trench, and on the bomb. Yeah, I remember that now.
Oh, yeah. So, all right, you got the game, you got the teams, and you basically got the play. So 150 points on the board for Standy off the rip here. Things you love to see. Pretty good start, to say the least. We're rocking and rolling. So the next one is the only not COD related question, all right? This is a video game trailer. So it's just going off of video games in the last, like, 5-ish years or so that kind of came out. And then there's a part 2 that's a little bit longer, and you get more points for part 1. So,
all right,
here we go.
Test of a person's true value. Death. Facing. Staring it down.
Johnny.
I got you.
I don't know, maybe like a Battlefield vibe, like Battlefield 4, like...
It's definitely got those vibes, but it's not Battlefield 4.
It's some kind of war game. I'm not really too sure.
I'll give you another go here. I'll give you one more. So now this is part 2 here. You'll get 150 points if you get this right here.
All right.
Pressure's tanky.
It's neurogenic shock. He's dying.
V, you in there?
My head.
So what now?
Now.
Anything coming to mind?
Honestly, it sounds fire. It sounds like a godlike game, but I don't know what it is. But the sound in the background, I fucked with the music.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like it's a fire game, but maybe like I don't know, Far Cry. Like,
you were so close, bro. It's all around
Fallout?
It's Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that would have been a good guess. That would have been a good one.
Yeah. But hey, it happens to the best of us. That's usually the one that's toughest because it's like random video games, so it can be really, really tough to go for. But off the rip, though, you got 150 points in that first part. We got 3 more we'll do a little bit later. But I mean, here we got to talk about you, man. So let's talk about his come up, because I want to hear how Standy. I want to hear about the come up of Standy. How the origin story. What happened? How does this start? And how'd you get started in COD, bro? Because I mean, you've got kind of like a crazy come up in the scene.
Just like every other kid that kind of, when they're really young, they get their first like game. They get like, I was like a really big gamer when I was younger, like throughout ages like 8 to 10, like Minecraft, like all those kind of games. I play with my family a lot. And like my friends from school were always talking about how they were playing like Call of Duty and stuff. And like my dad didn't want to buy me it actually for a little bit because it's like a shooting game.
Facts, bro.
So like once I got into 6th grade, I think he got me like Black Ops 1. And that's when I just kind of like, I was good. I just kind of played for fun. But I'd always play and like carry my own dad in like Call of Duty. Like I'd play pubs with him and he always like asked me, I'm so good.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Yeah, that's like where I kind of started playing COD. And then from there, like over the years, I played baseball until I was like 15.
Okay.
So, but over the years, I'd always like rush home from baseball, maybe get home from school, play Call of Duty. Like it was always my favorite game out of all the games I had, like every single year. Yeah. And I'd always try to be like a pub stomper, like get the best KD possible. Right. I'd always try to like be on the top of the leaderboards, like be better than all my friends.
What was your like go-to game mode like in the come-ups like
I'd
early
always play Ground War, like domination, and I'd go for like 120 kill games, pop in like orbital VSATs, like Blackbirds, just seeing where everyone is and just killing everything. And I just try to like get like crazy kill games, and then like be like talk to my friends and be like, yo, how many kills did you get? Like I got 120 kills.
Bro,
like
flex on them, like dude, I dropped 100 bomb yesterday, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And like. So that's like Black Ops 2 is when I really kind of fell in love with like that kind of aspect. When I was like, I think like 13, 14, I just played a lot of like,
dude,
like
I'm
just like
Ground War.
Jealous.
Cause I didn't, again, my parents were like, yeah, they didn't let me get any like COD game until like I turned 16. So I was like really held out. I'm like, man, I'm out here playing like Uncharted multiplayer grinding cause it's rated T and like grinding it. But no, I'm with you, dude. That's great. So yeah, okay. So you were just grinding pubs for a while,
I was
then
like a pub stomper, and then like And then kind of one day, like I met some Advanced Warfare came out, and that's when I started finding about like Scump and like stuff on YouTube, because I'd always watch like YouTube players play COD. Then I kind of found out about Scump, and that's kind of when I was like I used to only watch him for like pub gameplay. Like I never really knew that he was like a competitive player or anything.
Well, those like AW and BO3 VODs of him were like, they had tons of views.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Insane how many.
He was really big.
It's crazy, bro. How you could just post a pubs gameplay and get like 200K views easy every time. No matter what. But no, that's sick. So okay, so you're kind of like watching Optic, you're playing pubs, you're dominating with the BAL, like you're just frying.
Exactly. And then I kind of met some kid online through pubs, and he was like, hey, want to play like ranked play or whatever it was in AW? And I was like, hey, like sure.
Where you can like use variants in like the ranked play. You're like the Obsidian Steed frying.
Yeah, and just going, and then everyone just thought I was a scumbag and stuff, like just running the Obsidian Steed. And like,
were you I was gonna say, were you the Speakeasy ASM1 kid? Oh my word. This guy you were the guy destroying me in AW with ASM1 Speakeasy.
With the ASM1. And then the same kid, his name was Zeptic. That was his name. I remember.
Shout out Zeptic.
Shout out Zeptic. And then he kind of taught me about like game battles and like MOG. So this kid kind of put me on, and that's like, and like he like became my duo in game battles. And like I used to be like, just for everyone out there watching, like I used to get nervous in game battles. Like I'll already put that out there. Like I used to be like not nervous, but like I want to have a good record. Like I was like a little kind of I was a scumbag back then. Like I wanted to have a good record. We'd play duos, and then I'd be like on the game battles forums, like looking for a team, looking for a squad, like trying to find like a team. And like from there I kind of found a team. This is just like the straight path. And like,
so you were going through the forums, like you were really out there.
I was like trying to put myself out there, like, you know, I was like 15 years old. Half the time people would play with me and be like, you're a little ass kid, bro, like why is your voice so high, like stuff like that. And I just like, I'm just trying to play the game.
You're out here finding like 23, 24-year-olds who are trying to grind, and like they're like, who is this kid? Like, bro.
They're just like, why? Who is this 14-year-old kid just frying? And then like, and then like from there, I kind of just like got really good at game battles, and I started like becoming like a top game battles team. Like I'd have like 40 and like 2 team, 40
so that's
and 5.
When you were like, were you, at that point were you still playing like the XP ladders, or were you like going to pro
XP.
Points? Okay,
I was going to XP, just straight XP all the time, and I'd just go for really good records. And then eventually I'd get like these Visa cards from like Target where you can like have like $25 on them, $30 on them. Then I'd deposit that for wagers, and like I'd try to play wagers.
You were in it. I love it.
So I was just straight grinding $1 wagers for like a few months. I was pretty bad at first, but then over time, like I got better at them, kept improving. Then I went up to like $2, and then like Black Ops 3. So like from AW to Black Ops 3, that was just straight like XPs, starting to get in wagers. And then Infinite Warfare came out, and that's kind of like when Infinite Warfare is kind of when like I became like an S&D star kind of thing.
Okay,
so, like,
where people started like, all right, this guy's winning out here.
She recognized me as like not a pro or anything, but like a good S&D respectable player that like can win tournaments and stuff. So like that's kind of when like I found like better players to play with. In the beginning of Infinite Warfare, I started playing like $20 chows, like $30 chows, playing against like pros and stuff, and like in tournaments. And like I was playing chows against like S&D stars back in the day. Like they probably don't really play that much now, like Mutex, like a bunch of those kind of guys back in the scene. And then that's when I kind of became friends with like better known people, like kind of like Illy, like some other S&D players out there. Like we kind of became not really like super good friends, but like acquaintances. Like we talk like, sometimes.
If you keep playing each other in like tournaments, at some point you're like follow each other on Twitter, like that type of stuff.
So like that's kind of when like people started realizing when I was like 15, 16, like, hey, I'm a good S&D player. And that's kind of when I started like kind of coming to my own, like, hey, like I'm really good. Like I'm making money off of this. And like the game's kind of passed, like World War II. I'm still doing the same thing, playing S&D, making more friends, kind of getting in some connections. And then like all the way up into Black Ops 4, that's kind of when like I knew I was turning 18 towards the end of the year. So that's when I was like trying to like get into like 8s with like players like, I'd play 8s with like players like Sib, like Mac, like there's like a few other people like Narrow Poison. Like there's kind of like a little friend group, and like I had my own friend group, and we play like World War II League play. And I went to locals. Like I went to, I think, 2 locals or 3 locals in Infinite
Wait, where are
Warfare.
you originally from? Like what state?
Pennsylvania. So I went to like the New Jersey locals, like NJ Rod.
Yeah.
And like one of them, I won 2 of them. And then one of them, I got second at my first one. That's when I played against Simp in the finals when he was like 16.
That's wild. That's
like
crazy.
17.
Is there any VOD of that out there? Because that would be crazy.
It might be somewhere out there, but I feel like ETG, I think they might have deleted it. But it would be really, really cool if that was out there.
That would be sick.
Like, just
that would be sick.
Back on.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, I get a lot of questions too, like with like tips videos I do and stuff. Like, you know, how do I even start? Like, what's the beginning?
That's what people ask me a lot. And that's why I want to make a video kind of how we're just talking right now. Just like, this is what I did. And I don't have a complete like system of how to go pro, a complete path, but like, this is my path. And if there's anything you can do, like take notes from it. And like, you got to be persistent. And like, luckily, you want to hopefully get into it when you're younger, because I feel like it's a kind of thing that takes a lot of growth over years, especially like building your Twitter and like learning about stuff. So,
well, for sure. Like there's also like kind of like an ingrained like play style. Like I think the earlier you start, the better to like kind of get into that groove and like watching pros early too. Cause like I felt like I really missed out on stuff not playing COD pre like 16, like not developing some of those 100%. Play styles.
The 18, 19 is kind of when you want to get, like if you want to go pro, sort of kind of thing, that's when you kind of want to be in your form. So people ask me that a lot, and it's like people ask me like, were you just really good right when you started playing? It's like, no, like I wasn't just some god right when I picked up the video game and started playing, but like through accumulative years and like a lot of muscle memory, I could probably hop on right now and be a beast. But that's just because my knowledge is up there, like
for sure. Like,
stuff like
how much do you feel like you like really, how much time would you say you put in that like Black Ops 2 IW, like daily type play, like hours per day? What did it look like for you, like balancing school and stuff?
I mean, honestly, like I'd probably do school, come back from school, do my homework, probably go to baseball practice. And then when I got home from baseball practice, probably play like 3 hours, some days 4 hours. Some days, if I didn't have baseball, I'd probably play like, some days maybe 1 to 2 hours. But like,
then go rogue on the weekends.
Stay up late, play for like 8 hours straight, just playing pubs. So, like I played a lot, but like it wasn't like a consistent schedule until I became like 16, 17, 18. That's when I started playing, like actually like maybe getting a little lazy in school and not getting the best grades.
Well, when you know you have a chance, I mean, if that gets tough, you know, you're like, man, I can do this, you know, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of when I started like actually putting in a lot of hours. And like
for sure
getting my name out there in S&D. So I kind of envisioned the whole thing when I started getting older, like seeing myself like prosper in S&D and then kind of having a good name so I can start out in Variant on a decent team, like a top 24 team, top 16 team, just because of my S&D background. So it's kind of like for example, I like players like Illy, like those kind of guys, they got their chance right away. I wasn't as big named as them, but like I was good enough that I could like start out at a decent footing when I turned 18, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, like, I was going looking at your Gamepedia. So, was your first CW LAN event the Miami, the playoffs in Miami?
Yeah. Or actually Anaheim.
Oh, Anaheim. Okay.
I went to 2 Black Ops 4 events, and
oh, nice.
I think I got like top 24, something like that.
I almost guarantee you I refed you at both of those events. Because I
did.
Because I was a ref in the open bracket. So
yeah,
there you go. But yeah, because who are you playing with at those events?
Anaheim, I believe I was with myself, Andrew Onyx.
Oh, there you go.
Evan Alleviate, Neod, and Ramby Bambi. That was my first team.
Yeah.
And then my second team, I think, was myself at Miami to qualify for champs. We lost the round to qualify, but I'm honestly happy we didn't qualify because I feel like we probably would have got smoked and just embarrassed.
I mean, who knows? You could have pulled the singularity off. You never know.
I'm highly confident that we probably wouldn't have. So I'm actually kind of happy I didn't qualify. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like I still needed like experience, and time to grow. I was really sad, but I think that was me,
for sure.
Jaden, Zinx, whose name, Swarley.
Yep.
And then Evasion. That was my team. And then
that's sick. Like,
so like, I guess,
I was gonna say, like, how does like that process work with finding those guys? Like, I feel like a lot of people might be in that like GB play-in stage, but like they're not sure if they should like take some chances playing in some open tournaments or that type of stuff if they ever come back at some point. But
I just think that like a lot of people in the COD scene, you gotta see growth in people. Like I just feel like kind of finding people to play with. Like if you don't have a Twitter right now and you want to go pro, and make a Twitter right now. Follow all your favorite pros.
Yeah.
Follow people that you play with. Tell the people you play with to make a Twitter. Twitter is where you will grow if you want to make it somewhere in Call of Duty. I'm sorry. That's just where you got to start. That's where you meet people. You can play with more people, all that stuff. For me, like, I wasn't always the best, and I've lost to players that I'm way better than now. Now I'd play them and I would smoke them really bad.
Yeah, that's wild.
Back in the day, they would beat me and smoke me, and then they would kind of use that against me and like try to put me down. I feel like as another player in the challenger scene or something, and be like, hey, I beat you here. I beat you on LAN.
You're trash.
But
like, you know, get out.
Yeah, exactly. But they stayed at the same level while I kind of continued to, like, as the years go on, slowly improve.
Yeah.
While and then they kind of like say like, oh, I beat you then, like all this stuff, when it's like, you gotta grow, like, and especially in everything, like sports, you see sports players grow, like anything, like it's all about the kind of growth you take and the steps you take to improve, I feel like. And
what type of mindset do you think, like, is the difference there? Like,
I just think that, like, this might be like a psychopath kind of thing, but like, I just always wanted
definitely.
Like, I just hold myself to at least really high standards. Like, I just feel like no matter who I'm playing against, like, I don't try to get too down on myself when I do bad, but I really dislike when I underperform or like I don't play that well to my potential. So I just feel like I try really, really hard, and mentally I try really, really hard to like play as best as I can every single time, because I know that there could be someone watching. I know that, you know what I mean? Whoever I'm playing against, I want them to think that I'm good. I don't know. It's just like something inside of me just makes me feel like I want to be that good.
Definitely.
Which is like, if I'm not doing good, like I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure I'm doing good. It's kind of like that kind of thing. Like,
it's like after a loss, is it like, all right, we got to go back to drawing board. Like, what do we do? Like, how much is like the breakdown after a loss, you know, figuring out what went wrong and like that type of process in getting better? Are you more of like a forget about it and move on type guy? Or are you like a let's figure out what went wrong and fix it for next time type guy?
Well, I feel like right when I lose, I'm just like, forget about it. Like, I'm out of here. Like, damn it, we lost. But then like after that, after like a little bit of cooling down a little bit, that's when I'm like, all right, I'm going to look back on we obviously go over stuff like as a team, but that's probably when you're maybe on a top AM team or a pro team, that's probably when you'll start doing that kind of stuff. But individually, I like to go back and just kind of look at my arrow and just kind of like see what I do on the map. And just look at timings and like stuff that I feel like, oh, right here I could have been faster, or right here I could have been better, just from looking at like the most consistent stuff that happens. And that's kind of when I like that's when I kind of feel like I actually learn, because I'm just like, damn, like I'm mad at myself for doing it. So the next time I'm in that situation, I'm just like, all right, this time I'm going to be fast, because I know last time I remember looking at the map and seeing myself mess up. So I don't want that to happen again. And then like also just like watching other pros. You can just copy stuff from pros all the time. And so I copy stuff from my enemies. Like, I copy stuff from the people I'm playing against. And if it 100%. Works, it works. You know what I mean? The more I know, the better. You know what I mean? And
yeah, for sure. Were you like underestimate. Like when you're coming up in the scene, like were you like recording your own VOD, streaming, or like doing that type of stuff? Or are you going back and like watching it in theater mode or something like that?
I think when I was younger, I would just kind of I'd just play. Like, I'd just play S&D a lot. So I just did whatever strats I thought were good and whatever could get me kills, because you win by just getting kills in S&D. So like,
for sure, just play ratty.
All I would look at is getting kills, trying to play ratty. But as I got older and like started to play variant a little bit more, I started like, I didn't really stream that much, but like the teams that I was on, we'd always like have like a VOD recorder or something. So that's when I kind of like, maybe on my own time before I go to sleep, just sit there on my bed on my phone, look at the VOD on Twitch or something, like a secret VOD channel.
100%.
And like kind of watch from there and just see what I'm doing and what I think I need to do better. And then like, honestly, I feel like when you're not very good, you're actually better off watching a pro player than your own self. Because if you're not smart enough to watch CoD or know what you're doing wrong, then you're not going to get anywhere with watching your own gameplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You want to be able to watch a pro and understand what they're doing it and why they're doing it. And then once you got that down, that's when you can sit down and actually watch your own gameplay, or maybe sit down with a friend, a coach, like a teammate, and then actually like criticize your own gameplay.
Get some feedback, for sure.
Yeah, so you're not just sitting there and just looking at like, oh, do I even know what I'm doing wrong here? Like, do I even understand why this is bad, or like why this is good? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think this is something I talk about a lot, because it's like when you're watching, like, I mean, even for myself, it's like watching a pro. you get the kind of those spots, like you kind of build that like almost reaction to like how you should react to a certain scenario just by watching them. You're like, oh, like when Scump's in this 1v1 on this part of the map, like he slides out this way and does this thing and plays it that way. Like, oh, I can try that, you know? And
like the way they move around the map, all that stuff.
For sure,
A lot of the pros have different play styles, so it's like you have a lot of players to look at, a lot of variety, and you can just learn a lot from like all the other players too. Yeah,
that's huge. And I think that it's also a thing is like finding kind of your go-to player to be like, all right, I want to kind of play like this guy and like really develop that, and then working it that way for sure. So I guess now moving forward to like kind of your jump here. So Modern Warfare, BO4, you're playing in like the AM champs and doing that stuff. And then you move your way up. Now you're playing in Modern Warfare. You got the squad. You're playing pretty well. Take me through the kind of that year and then the process to like winning Challengers finals.
All right. So beginning of the year, I had Dave Patty, which he's on the Florida Shout out Dave. Now. That was my like starting duo that like I kind of started like going into Modern Warfare. I was like, all right, I need another really, really good player that I know is going to grind, same mindset as me. And Dave was that guy. Dave was a guy that I felt like was really good, had a lot of potential. And I feel like we had the similar mindset on a lot of things. And then the next step was finding like 3 other teammates that I think could put in the time. And we went with 3 of our past friends. And we were like, all right in the beginning, but not the best. So I ended up me and Dave ended up leaving them and joining my past team in BO4, which was myself, Dave, Zinx, Swirly Evasion, I believe. Or some kind of roster like that. I think we might have had like Mujaden instead of one of them. I'm not too sure. But that's when like we won our first event under Aspire Esports. I don't know if they're a team anymore or an organization, but that's when we won. And then right there, like we started scrimming against like Triumph, which was the past Triumph, which was like Parzelian, Fellow, Royalty, Nagafen, Exotic. And we were like doing pretty good against them, and we beat them in the first finals. And me and Dave, I'm not trying to gas us, but like we kind of like, we did a lot of the killing, like a lot of the hard work. Yeah, we were frying. Simply put, which my teammates were fine too, but like I feel like me and Dave
you can't win unless everybody's playing well. But
yeah, exactly. That's when like Fellow and like Nagafen, like Royalty are kind of like, all right, well these are kind of the newer, younger gun kids.
Who
like,
are these guys, bro? Like
they're squaring up against us. Like we're supposed to be the pros.
So is that a pretty big win for you then? I mean, that probably felt really good.
That was like my first win ever, and that's when I kind of realized like, oh, challenges like
you're like, oh,
I feel like I didn't have the best team, and we won. So like that was just like, wow, like I can do this. You know what I mean? Like I'm like a lot better than I think I am. Like I can really win this, and like I just got to do this consistently. That's when like stuff kind of went off for me, and then Dave got picked up on Triumph. I didn't. Then I joined another team.
But that's your in though. You know, at that point you're like, that's my guy.
Yeah, that Dave was my guy. So then he got on the Triumph basically, and then I found another team, which was like myself, Andrionyx, Zaptius, Paul X, and Venom. Yeah, because I was really good friends with like the Western people. We went to like I think Atlanta, the CDC Atlanta, like the Challengers event before COVID, and we got like 3rd place. We were pretty good. Then after that event, that's when I got picked up on Triumph, and that's when I started like getting salary on an amateur team, which I was really lucky to get because not many teams have that.
That's a huge moment.
That's when like my parents too started kind of realizing like, okay, he's making some money. Like we can see something out of this. Like
definitely.
He's getting paid
do your
monthly.
Parents like? I mean, like I know your mom's kind of on Twitter a lot, but like, did they like? Did they understand COD at that point, or was it still kind of like, what's happening here? Not exactly sure what the scene's like.
I would tell them, but like I still feel like they didn't really understand. Like it's just really hard for like people that like if you don't put a lot of time into this kind of thing, it's really hard for them to understand. But I feel like recently, like after watching the pro scene and watching like the casters talk about it, like the analysts, like seeing tweets on Twitter, like they're starting to get the gist of it and how it necessarily works.
For sure.
So it definitely took some time, but I think the main importance for them was like, is he making money? Is it going to be stable? Is he going to be able to make something out of this? Like, is he making a smart decision? Like, they're just kind of looking out for me. You know what I mean? Just
at that point, were you for sure like not going to college, or was it like a decision? Like, what's the balance there? Like, what's that looking like?
It was like, hey, give me like 2 years, 1 to 2 years, play Challengers, see if I can at least get close to making it pro, get some money, And then when I was 18, I was already kind of making some money, doing pretty good. So that's
for sure.
They gave me some more leniency. And like, I was probably planning to go to college when I was like 20, 21 if I didn't really go pro or like see things pan out how I wanted them to.
Yeah.
But they did, and I like really tried really hard. So I'm so like grateful and happy. And then like once I got on that Triumph team, that's when like things started getting better. I started getting more notoriety, started scrimming against pros, started like piecing pros and scrims, like winning tournaments here and there, being a top challengers team. And that's when I feel like I started getting like a lot of notoriety. But it was a passage, and it was just a grind. And like I just feel like for a lot of players, like you got to know how good you are to take that next step, and you got to like put yourself out there in a way. Like you can't like, if you just think like, oh, I'm just gonna sit there and fry and just not talk to anyone, just hopefully always just let my gameplay speak for itself. I mean, unless you're really like just 50 bomb, 40 bomb, like different, like next, like simp or something, like someone just this absolutely just shitting on everyone, like winning everything. Like you kind of have to put yourself out there a little bit.
The networking matters.
And then in the challenger scene, everyone else is trying to like, it sucks that it's this way a little bit, but like they try to put each other down to make them look higher up, and the kind of, which it kind of sucks the way it is, but like that's the way it goes in a way. Just
it's almost inevitable. Just when you have 4 teammates, you're like, well, why are you winning? Like, well, it's me, you know, like I'm the reason why we're winning.
Exactly. You kind of want to be that guy that's the next one up. You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to go pro here, which
for sure
it's the reality. But like at the same time, that doesn't mean like be a selfish teammate or roast people. Just do your thing, do what you do best, and like I just feel like if you really just have like a good mindset and just stick to it. And if it's meant to happen and your cards played out right, like it will happen. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So you're kind of finding your groove now, leading into challengers, then or into the finals. You end up winning the freaking tournament, which is dope. And that's kind of when the whole scene's like, oh, who's this Standy guy? I think at that point it was like, all right, Standy's the real deal. He's kind of like next in line. But then like you ended up not getting a spot. So kind of what was that whole process between like Modern Warfare to like not getting a spot in the CDL?
So like MW, the first year franchising. So we're like, all right, we're top team majority of the year. We go into Challenger Champs. We're hearing talks about expansion, all this stuff. So we're like, we win Challenger Champs. Yo, we're getting a spot. We're all getting a spot. We're all in here. We're all in this because we didn't know much. We're like, all right, all we got to do is win this tournament, do our best, and we're in. So we're just going in there, firing on all cylinders. And we win it, and we're like, yes, like let's fucking go. Like there's no way we don't get picked up. Like we're next up. Like we're getting in the league, baby. And then like all that stuff is just like no expansion.
That's
so falling down.
Crazy, dude.
Just like, what else do I have to do? People are like, it's online. Standy's an onliner. Like he's an idiot. It's MW. It's squad spawns. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, you know what I mean? You see like people trying to like just tear you down a little bit.
Everyone discredits the whole season at that point. You're like, bro.
And I was like, what? Like, I thought if I win it, like I'm probably gonna get a spot, especially being a younger player. You know what I mean? Like being on the top. Exactly. Like something that's needed.
For sure.
And that's when I was like thinking that like maybe I could get on like a Seattle team or something. Like a team like that would maybe want to pick me up. But then I didn't, so I was just like, all right, I'm going to go into Cold War and do the same exact thing.
Was that demoralizing? Like at first you're like, man, like that sucks, but like did it kind of light a fire again? Or how did that, like what was the mental processing there?
It sucked, like, because it was just like, I did everything I could. I played my heart out the whole season. And then then I was just like, what else do I have to do? But then like after a little bit, I'm just like, well, I mean, people want me to prove myself even more. Like, I guess I'm going to have to do it. Like, I'm going to do what it takes, and I'm going to stay positive.
For sure.
And one day, as long as I keep it up, I just kind of had like faith. I just kind of had faith that it would end up like working out. And as long as I just keep doing my thing, and the times we scrim pro teams, make sure I pop off, do my thing.
Definitely.
So I'd be a force in their face. So that's kind of like the mindset I had. So
because then you guys ended up winning like Cup 9, right? Was that like Decimate and Sib too? Right.
My Cold War season was kind of iffy. Like in the beginning, we weren't really good. We weren't really that good.
What do you think the difference was between like the Modern Warfare? Like, how did that play for you at first?
I just think like the different kind of game. Like I feel like. I mean, like
5 to 4v4 matters for sure. Like,
so we got transition. Jordan General, and like Jordan was good. Like he was a good player. He's unselfish. He's a He's a really good player, but like I feel like the way that our system was kind of like the way that we played, like I feel like we might have been better off maybe keeping Diamond Con. Not trying to like take shots or anything, but like just the way the game played out and just the way that we played as a team, we didn't really like work out that well. And I just feel like we got kind of unlucky a little bit with just the way the tournaments were playing out. So that was kind of like demoralizing for me because I was like, so I was so close to getting picked up. I go in the challenger season, I'm not doing too hot, but like the whole time I do feel like, even though I'm not winning, I still feel like I'm like doing my thing, if that makes sense.
Overall,
which I'm not saying like my teammates are costing or anything, but like I still feel like I'm kind of frying, like I'm that guy.
At least
like,
you weren't costing. You're like, I'm not like ruining things here.
Yeah, like I'm doing my job. Like
that's fair.
I'm piecing the people I need to piece, and then finally I'm just like, all right, like me and Dave are gonna find a new team. It has to happen. Like how many times are we gonna get like second, not win?
Yeah, top fours, like right there. Top
like
six,
we're right there, but we're not getting there. So we're just like, all right, we're leaving.
Yeah,
and then we actually end up playing with me, Dave, Sib, and Jimbo. But then Jimbo had a little occasion. I'm not really going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then we ended up picking Decimate. And then we go into the first tournament. No days of practice. 0 days of practice. Yeah.
Yo. That's wild.
We literally found Decimate like the day before. We're like, yo, we need you for this. Like, play with us. We're going to win. We're going to take over. We're going to start winning everything in the challenger scene. And to give a little insight, like, before, like, a week before that, 1 to 2 weeks before that, when I leave Triumph, so that was like my amateur org. I joined like Reppin and Saint hit me up in the DMs.
Okay,
and
so that was the first time?
That was when I started like kind of a little bit of communication.
Okay,
they're asking me like, yo, what happened with Triumph? Like, why did you leave? And then I'm kind of telling them my situation, blah, 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 like why I felt like I wasn't winning a little bit. And then that's when like I was like, okay, so maybe they want to substitute. Like, why else would they be talking to me? You know what I mean?
For sure.
And then and then a little bit before that, like they're talking to me, like I think before Challenger Cup number 9, like talking about like, oh, we might like want to sub the UN actually pretty fast. Like we might just want to get the substitute on the roster.
Dang, that's wild.
And then they had a match versus like I think like it was like Paris, and then in Seattle maybe or someone, and they're like starting out their pool. Like that was when they started out 0-2, and then they picked me up in stage 2.
Yeah. Oh, the beginning of stage 2.
You know how they were like 0-2, and then I joined, and we won 3 matches.
And then you won 3 matches in a row.
So, like, I was like kind of watching them, like, and like I was like, oh, they're losing to some like bad teams, like teams they shouldn't lose to.
For sure.
So I was like, oh, maybe
there's
I might
an opportunity
here. Yeah.
Wait,
I wasn't hating on them. I didn't want them to lose, but like at the same time, I'm like,
I mean, come on. Yeah, we are
losing.
You know how it is.
Everything's falling into place. Everything's falling into place.
So this is all heading into the Cup 9.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, we have a pickup team.
I'm like, I have a pickup team. Like, I want to fry in this cup to show off to them.
Yeah.
Maybe win it. But like, I was kind of confident going into the cup.
Yeah.
And then,
bro, that's
I was like,
wild.
They're losing to Paris. They lost to, like, not Seattle. It was like another, like London or something. They weren't really that good. And I was like, they're like, if they want to win this pool, like, they may want to make a change. And then we go in the Challenger Cup number 9. I'm like, that's like, I got MVP that cup. I think I had like a 1.2 or something, 1.3 in the finals.
So that was the icing on the cake. That was when like,
so then I'm just like turning up, going rogue. I'm frying NYSL Academy. Like that's when Hydra was on their team too. So like, and they're watching it. And that's when like, after I won Challenger Cup number 9, like it was like probably like 12 p.m., 1 a.m. And like their whole team was out to dinner, like the Rokkr. And then like, I got a FaceTime call from Reppin, like after the tournament. They're like, yo, what's up? Like, yo, like you're on the team and stuff, and like all this stuff.
What was your first thought when you saw the FaceTime? You're like,
well, at first I didn't save his number. So I declined it. I was like, who's calling me right now?
Chance.
Like, I was like, who's calling me right now? And then I looked back, I was like, wait, that's Reppin. Like,
that's
Reppin.
hilarious.
And I answer, and like, she's on the phone. Like, I think Slash was out to dinner attached. They're like gassing me up, and they're like, yo, we were just watching that finals. Like, you were frying and like gassed me up. And I was like, oh, like I was just really excited. Just like words can't really explain it. And I was like, oh, like maybe I'm getting picked up now. Honestly, I just thought I was getting picked up as a substitute. But then like the next day went by, and they're like, yo, like we want to put you in. Like we want to fly you down here in the next like 3 days, and we want you to start against Optic.
That's wild, dude.
And I was just like. I was like,
like, no.
Sure, I mean, I can't really decline the offer, but like,
no, definitely not.
So I get picked up, like everything's happening within like 1 to 2 days. Like they announce me like super fast, like everything's going down. Like so much. There's such a big transition in my life. Like I didn't know what was going on, and then like I show up to Texas, I pack everything, I meet everyone.
Crazy.
We scrim the first day, and the first day, like I think we beat FaZe in a few maps. Like the first day, like in scrims.
Okay.
Like,
oh, you got that FaZe scrim day one.
Yeah, they loaded me up. I think it was like FaZe and like another god, like Optic or something. Not Optic, but like another good team, like Dallas, or something. They like loaded me up the first day. So like, oh, we want to see it. And I was like, just trying my ass off. Like,
oh yeah,
I was trying to sweat and impress. But we did really good against FaZe. So like, I think the fact that we did really good against FaZe in like our first day of scrimming or second day. Because I think we only had like 1 day of scrims, I think, before.
And then you played
match.
Optic. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like right away, like I just brought like a lot of. I was like really nerdy in the AM, like in the AM scene. And one thing I want to like shout out Jordan General for is like he's like a really dedicated player. Like he goes over VODs a lot, and I feel like going over VODs a lot and being like really picky about like the way you play situations and like actually trying to like be in the successful you can be on the map. I feel like Jordan's really good at that. Like I feel like Jordan like. If he's not a player in the future, like I feel like he'd actually be a really, really, really good like coach, analyst kind of person to have on your team. Like I feel like he has a really, really good eye, at least to play your situations like really disciplined. And I feel like in like what he brought, I learned obviously, and I gathered some information on my own.
Interesting.
And I could kind of put it on them. And then like the first like match or two I kind of played like when against Optic, like I was kind of like IGLing like a little bit. Like I was like, yo, get to the setup. Like you set up there. Like we're doing this, and I feel like it just really caught Optic off guard.
I mean,
because, like
it was a 100-point club in the first map, right?
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, I'm talking about a debut that had to have been insane. I mean, like,
it's just like
that's
I
surreal.
just feel like since Challengers started before the pro scene, so I actually feel like I had more knowledge than the actual pro players that they knew, because
so that was kind of a question
earlier.
I was gonna have was like the honeymoon phase. We saw it like so insane this year with some of the AM players early on, especially. Like I was gonna ask, like, was that part of it? Like the bringing in so much game time experience from the amateur scene, because you guys have played so many like actual matches at that point
and tournaments and stuff like that every single weekend. So you're in all these situations, and I just feel like that just brings your knowledge. Right. That much more when you get in a pro team. It's like these pro teams don't really know your play style. They don't know much about you. So you can just come right off bat with a whammy, and they're just not really going to know what to expect.
Yeah, y'all beat Optic, and then you beat Dallas, and then Surge, and that crazy reverse sweep.
Yeah. So it's like the storylines were insane. Like the way everything panned out, even for me, I was like, yo, like what is going on right now? Like,
oh, yeah. The content was lit that week. I was having a great time.
Yeah,
it was like crazy.
That was crazy. That was nuts. But like at the same time, I saw everything pan out, and it just like kind of reminded me that like I don't know, stuff that's meant to happen is kind of meant to happen a little bit. Sure. Like it's like I kind of like it's just like weird because it's like I waited all this time to get picked up. I felt like I was so nasty and really good, and I feel like everyone discredited me. Kind of like they would always say I'm not as good as I am, or like people, like, for some reason, I feel like always underestimate me. Like, I'm like I don't know, like, people obviously say I'm good, but I feel like people always seem to, like, underestimate me, like, than I actually am for some weird reason. I don't know why. Maybe I don't pass their eye test or the way I play, but for some reason, at the end of everything, I feel like I always, like, surpass the expectations or,
and
like...
you know the value you bring to a team. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's kind of, like, my story a little bit because, like, I feel like I'm slept on a little bit. Well, not really now, but since like my first season, obviously.
Definitely,
but, like,
and like during the AM scene and your come up in Challengers.
Yeah, that kind of more so. And like I feel like that kind of like when I finally get picked up and like I'm frying, like and seeing everything pan out, it kind of reminded me like stuff that's meant to happen is gonna happen.
Yeah,
you just gotta keep faith and like really just like kind of focus up and just like you're gonna have downs and ups, but like you just gotta stay positive, you know, especially like in a job like CoD and just like doing stuff. So.
Well, I mean, like the wins and losses. Oh, for sure, man. I mean, like it can be such a roller coaster. Like if you get too down on yourself after a loss, like you're never gonna make the comeback. Like like you have to regain.
Like we had all the talk in the CoD scene. Everyone's like, after you lose a match, you got the critics, you got everyone talking about you. So you don't want to let that get to you. You just want to stay positive. And know that if you're playing up to your full potential, like what you can bring, you know what I mean? And everyone's gonna have their opinions, but like what you know about yourself is what matters the most. You know what I mean?
For sure. So, I mean, it would definitely not... We have to talk about the resurrection. I mean, there's no way not to talk about that. So obviously you guys had like after your insane like 3-0 start, I mean, you guys started lowing a little bit there in like stage 3, stage 4 a little bit, where like I would imagine we're living up to the play you guys wanted to play. I mean, like, because I mean, what you had like it was like a 10th place or so, like it was that stage 3 or stage 4?
Yeah, stage 3.
Yeah, stage 3, and then it was like
4
this,
maybe.
Right, and then Lamar and Mike got swapped.
Yeah.
And then heading into stage 5, where it's like, all right, we're not sure what the Rokkr are right now. Like we've seen them compete with the best teams, and we know how good these guys can be. But like, where are they gonna be? So what clicked at stage 5? Like what do you think was the difference between like the start of stage 5, maybe some of that play, like versus stage 4, and like what clicked, and then like of course the grand finals?
So like kind of going back to like some things are meant to happen. Like this is kind of the same way I feel like, because we weren't really doing so well, and then we kind of got Mike, and we were like improving a little bit, but we'd have some days where we'd beat top teams in scrims, and then some days where we'd like lose to teams that aren't that good, or like I wouldn't say not that good, but like compared to like lower ranking teams, obviously, or like then some days we'd play Optic, do really good against them. Some days we'd play FaZe, like get pretty close map count. FaZe are pretty like godlike in scrims, honestly, like definitely the best scrim team. Number 1, obviously.
No surprise there, you know.
But like when you play really close against FaZe, like, you know what I mean? That's pretty successful, obviously.
For sure.
I feel like, at least for like a lot of teams. And then going into stage 5, I feel like we had like the best. We started like really just like trying really hard to be really sweaty in scrims and just really like try like to switch up different things. We were watching a lot of VODs, like changing up our setups, and just making sure that whatever we do, we're always prioritizing like playing as a team and like playing to our pace, and kind of just doing whatever we can do, whatever we want on the map, as long as we do it together and work together. Like that's the kind of mindset we had, and we had really good days of scrims. Like we were just beating almost every team, like winning a lot of best 11 scrims. Like we were just consistently frying teams. And we knew that Florida match to make it into winners, like 3-2. Yeah. In our pool was really important. And even before that Florida match, like we were playing godlike in scrims. For sure. We go in there, we smoke Florida, and that's like, then that's kind of when we're like, all right, so if we play like that and we keep continuing like this in scrims, like we can beat anyone. Like we're beating the best teams in scrims. Yeah, we can do the same exact stuff if we go into the major and play like that. So then practice is really good before the major. We go in the major, we're frying like pre-landing it up. We're doing really good. Yeah. We go into the first match, and like we're like playing against FaZe, like really, really tough in scrims, like trading maps, like being really sweaty. Like I could tell that there was like turmoil, not turmoil, but like, you know what I mean? Like a little, we want to beat you so bad. That kind of thing. Like for sure. I knew going into Major 5, like FaZe was a little bit shook by us. Not like shook, but like I knew they knew that we were frying,
and that you had a chance. Like you knew that they knew that you had a chance to win.
Yeah, exactly. They knew that we were coming with the absolute fire, and we've been playing some of the best CoD we've ever been playing. So like, I feel like that's, and then going to that match, like we beat them 3-1.
Yeah, and you kind of took the wind out of their sails, because then they ended up losing to Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that was kind of like shortcoming. I feel like they kind of knew that we were gonna be coming really crazy, and if they don't play to their best, like we're gonna take the series against them. I kind of felt it. And then from there, like we beat Dallas 3-1, and then Toronto 3-0. Like we're just playing so good, working really like together. Then like the Rokkr Resurrection, like crazy, like going back to like the debut kind of thing where everything panned out, and I was like, it was kind of meant to happen. I feel like with how good we were playing in scrims, how good we were playing in those matches, and then going down 0-4 and then coming back, it just like, it kind of felt like it's just like meant to happen. Like going down 0-4, like we had no scrim prior to that day, but Toronto came off a win against Optic, I believe, right? Or Dallas, or I think it was Optic. Yeah. So they beat Optic, and they already had a warm-up scrim and all that stuff, like a warm-up match. So I feel like Toronto just came out like firing all cylinders. Like we were 2v2 hard pointing and like 3v3 hard pointing against our like coaches and stuff. Like we didn't really have a serious warm-up. No. After every single map, like first map, we're like, all right, we're kind of warmed up now. Like second map, we're like, we're getting the guns hot. And then third map, we're like, okay, now we gotta start winning some maps here. like we're just kind of laughing, shaking it off. And then fourth map, we're like, okay, we probably could have won that map, but like now we're finally playing smart, kind of as a team. Then that fifth map, it kind of lighted a fire, I feel like, and that's like, all right, it's only one map, but like if we believe in each other and we just take it map by map and have a little bit of fun, not stress too much about it, and just have some fun up there on the stage, enjoy each other. It's like I like had a feeling kind of that I knew. I just like for some reason, like I wasn't super hopeful or saying like we're gonna reverse sweep or anything, but like something inside of me was telling me that like you can really do this right now. Like it's gonna be a fight, but like you can do it.
It's crazy because it's like, I mean, obviously you guys beat him in the winners finals. Like you guys knew you could beat him. It wasn't like you know, that might be a different situation, like where you might keel over, like if you came from losers after already losing to Toronto and went down 4-0. But like you're coming from winners, like you know you got it in you. So I think it's kind of that like, all right, we got to get together here. You know, you've got the veterans with you. Let's fry and like make it happen. Like let's do this. And so it's just crazy, man. Like that. I mean, I can't imagine what that felt like. That was like unreal.
And everyone on our team, like I know they had the same exact feeling that I kind of had. You know what I mean? Like they knew that like we've been playing super good in scrims. If we keep it up, like we can really win as long as we just like play up to our potential and work together. And I feel like they all kind of had the same feeling I did, that like we can really win it, but it's gonna take some fight. And like leading up to everything, like it would just be really heartbreaking that we're beating all the best teams, we're smoking them, and then just getting 5-0 in the finals. Like we're not going out like that. Like you know,
for sure. That makes a lot of sense, man. I mean, like it creates for a cool story. Obviously, you guys end up staying together now after getting the stage 5 win. You go into champs. You would have obviously rather not, or you know, came out gone to the grand finals or something. But so heading into Vanguard, what are you guys feeling? Thoughts like about the team? Were you hoping to kind of see the improvement this year? Like what are the vibes like?
I'm just hoping to see, like, I just think as a team, like we're kind of coming together a little bit more, and we've seen our potential of what if we really try hard in scrims, everyone's focusing every single day, we're giving our full effort, like what we're truly capable of. And I think like winning Major 5 and like, we got like 4th at champs, which we could have done better. I just think like we're actually starting to grow some freaking consistency finally and like kind of understand how we like to play and how like as a team we play, because I feel like we play different compared to like a lot of other teams, and like as long as we play our game, like what we can do. And I just feel like, you know what I mean, you kind of find a bond with these kind of people, you know what I mean? Like obviously it's a business and you want to win, but I really like these guys and I feel like they really like me. And it's just like, you don't really want to break something that's necessarily broken. Like, do you want to go make a new team and risk like kind of ruining what you kind of already have? Or do you want to like create an awesome storyline and like do something crazy and build with these guys and just like be kind of like, I feel like I see us as like an underdog team a little bit. And I feel like everyone on the team has like a lot to prove. And I feel like that's what like is what gonna make us like a really dangerous
and your
team.
guys' S&D has like the potential to be as good as you guys like want it to be. Like, it could be the best S&D in the league, like undoubtedly.
At the end of the year, like I feel like we got better at hardpoint. Like we were at least could beat any team in hardpoint, maybe not consistently, but like beginning of the year they had really bad hardpoint. But I think like the addition of me and like kind of understanding more and like learning, really focusing on our hardpoint, like we got really good. Because I think in SD, we had a
Mike was frying in stage 5, like in respawns, and like that was like the big, I feel like a huge, I mean, a champs huge turning point. Like we're like, all right, now the Rokkr like this, like you guys can literally be anyone in respawn.
Mike's kind of slaying, doing his thing, like putting up the damage, which like I feel like he's like gone a lot better at that and kind of coming to his own. And being like a little bit more speeder sometimes. Because I feel like sometimes people have the argument he might be a little slow, but like he's a really smart player.
Definitely.
And I think he like has started to like become a lot more of a leader and like helping the team like kind of come into one. And I think that like it just opens up a little bit more space. And I think we're like all comfortable with each other that we can kind of like be like, yo, hey, like Dylan, like speed it up or something. I'm just hypothetically talking like
for sure.
Eagle child that hill, like what are you doing?
Let's hit it. Let's go. Come on.
Let's
go.
You know what I mean? Like we can talk to each other without kind of getting hurt or like having turmoil, which I know some teams like might have bad vibes and like talk to each other and maybe like get butthurt. Like I feel like we're all like friends and good enough like people that we can like work together and actually like find solutions to our problems instead of like letting our problems lead to more problems. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I think it's awesome. And I also love what the Rokkr are doing, bringing in like kind of the whole staff now and like really creating like the competitive team around you guys. So I think your guys are in an awesome spot too. So well, we've been going all day. We still have the final 3 guesses to go through here.
We've been talking a lot, but I love talking about CoD. I can do it all day.
Dude, same, man, same. So now we got basically a CoD gun, and then we have a CoD personality or like a pro in the scene, and then we got a CoD moment to cap it off here. So off the rip here, we got a gun from COD history. And again, same thing as before. Like if you 50 points for naming the game, 100 points for naming the gun. And we'll see what happens here. So off the rip, let's get it.
E-Rad.
Bang. So fast. The speed. It is the E-Rad, baby.
IW. You know I was running that.
Oh, I imagined you were frying with the E-Rad back in IW for sure. Well, there you go. 150 points on the board. It's simple as that. You're up to 300 now, which, you know, you're right on the tail of Easy Mac and a lot of these guys. So you're right there with them. So now we got the COD personality. This is where you can really make your bank here if you nail this thing in the first little short clip here. So it's like a COD Pro basically, and it's just like an interview of a COD Pro. You got to guess who it is. All right. So pressure's on.
Second map, it got really scary for us. We were down 5-3, scumphead streaks.
Boom, and there it is. The 300 points on the board. No hezzy, immediately. And we're up to 600, which means that skyrockets you to now third place. Only behind our season Tactical Rab. And we're rolling here. So now it's on the line here. The COD moment. All right. So again, same thing. Name the game, the event, and then the teams and the play as best you can. And we'll go from there. So here we go. Pull it in right here. All right, here we go.
Not by himself
for round 11.
Oh my god.
Not been playing for his camo here. Nice. So he will have camo in round 11. Oh, wait.
No,
wait.
They're lining up. He has a camo. Oh no! Oh my god.
All right. So it's what's that map called? It's the water map. It's Rise Nation, Rise versus, Terrorizing, or TR, or Team Revenge, but it's Black Ops 3. It's Nagafen. He's in a 1v4. It's it's not Redwood, but it's, what is that map called? But it had the underground water. He had camo.
It did.
He clutched the 1v4. It's like, it starts with a B maybe, or an R, or
Do you know that? So do you know? Can you guess what teams were in it? Do you have any clue?
LG, Luminosity, maybe.
So it is Black Ops 3. It is the Naga 1v4. Obviously, he had camo. Insane play. Yep. Can you get the map name? You're gonna hate yourself when I say the name.
But you're gonna say it, I'm definitely gonna be pissed. Like
Hunted.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was Hunted.
And yep, so you got all of that there, except for the map. So I'll give you the 150 out of 200 points there, which puts you right there at 750, which beats RCD. So Tactical Rab's the only other one there. So that's 750 on the board. Of course, the dude's always finessing.
The dude knows it all.
He does. 750, you're number 2 on the leaderboard, baby. You'll take that, though. You got RCD's beats, the things you love to see, and go from there. So, I mean, basically, we kind of covered everything that I was hoping to cover. The last thing was, I guess, going to say, what's the biggest thing that you noticed in a difference from how AMs play versus how, like, pros play? What was there, like, an immediate, like, whoa, this is different? Like, oh, my word. Like, what was kind of the experience of, like, how AMs play versus pros play? And, like, what did you notice in those things, like different skills, like communication or team play, trading, like lines of sight, positioning, anything like that?
For me, aim players, I could out-talent a lot.
Okay.
I could just kind of run around, gun them.
Yeah.
And a lot of my raw skill did a lot, I feel like.
For sure.
And I've, like, against pros, that's the next step where you got to have raw talent, but you also have to be smart and really decisive and work as a team. I think only the top challenger teams work as a team as much as pros work on a team. Yeah. Like, as a pro, you have 4 gears working together as one, I'd say. And then maybe in the AM scene, you have like 1 or 2 gears, maybe 3 kind of clicking together, sometimes 4.
And at certain times it works, but it's not consistent.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you get more in the pro scene, like, it's more of consistent and really consistent, disciplined gameplay. But I feel like a lot of players, like, when they first go pro, like, a lot of players are, if you're adaptable, like, I feel like it's an easy, like, it's kind of like you play up to your competition. Like, I don't know, like, the human brain, the human body, like, it adapts to whatever it needs to adapt to, like, kind of like the same kind of logic, I feel like, because, like, for me, like, I might have done some stupid stuff, I feel like, when I first started scrimming pros, maybe doing a stupid ego chow, but I feel like the more you play against them and the more I scrim them every day, I'm so much more prepared to be disciplined because I know I'm playing against the best players in the world right there. And
for sure.
For amateurs, sometimes I'm playing against kids that I'm just like, I'm ego chowing this kid, I'm better.
Yeah,
like,
and they're ego chowing you too, so it works out.
Exactly. So it's not like, so it's like you kind of learn that level of discipline where why challengers could be a little bit inconsistent for the most part because you can probably outskill a lot of the people you're playing against. Which I'm not saying you can outskill pros, but
well, is there kind of some irony there? Because like there is like a certain play style that definitely works in the amateur scene to win challengers or win events in the amateur scene, but then like not necessarily is that going to translate well to like being great in the pros right away.
Yeah. Which like I feel like you gotta have the smarts too. Like you can sit there. I ego chow a lot. I ego chow some pros sometimes, but it's really just like.
Well, you gotta go rogue once in a while.
Yeah,
I mean, you know?
It's all situational. Like if you're feeling yourself, you're popping off that map. Hey, like I'm gonna show you who's dominant. Like something like that. Like I'm gonna show you that I'm better. But like you kind of adjust though. At least if you ask like other rookies or something, like, I feel like a lot of them might have this answer. Like you kind of adjust. I feel like you just kind of. If you aren't super disciplined, the AM scene, which like is kind of the stigma about a lot of amateurs, like, they're not super disciplined. They don't know. They're not super smart.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, like I kind of adjusted, and if anything, like I kind of threw a lot of people off guard with like the ways that I play.
That is interesting because it's like, like I said, like when you're playing with like attached priest and major maniac, is a little bit different. Like it's going to be easier to play with them because they know how to play with you. Like there's almost kind of like that give and take of like, all right, they're communicating like, yo, wait for me, or like those types of things. Let's say this together.
Every other amateur player might be doing.
Yeah, but then like the other amateur players were also ego challenging you, so I guess like technically like it still works great, but like.
But it could be like a combination of like bad or good, and I feel like that's why you see like some inconsistencies with a lot of challenger teams players, like jumping a lot, trading a bunch of teams, like always switching your teams, which is why I feel like that's like. Challenge is really inconsistent, but like I feel like it's really good. I mean, stable. You want to be stable. On
Triumph, you guys stayed together for a long time. Like, did you feel like that was kind of like pretty advantageous for you guys as time went on?
Yeah, I just think the more you know how your teammates like to play, and the more you become familiar with certain situations, the more like, for example, like S&D. The reason some teams get really good at S&D because hey, we're sending this guy to this part of the map. These two people are going there. You can change it up however you want, but you just kind of learn how to play your situation as best as possible. And it's like, for example, like you set up on a certain hard point. Your team has like the 2-3 different setups that you do on this certain hard point. Like you change it up each time, maybe. Like you do a certain setup, but you know where everyone likes to go on the setup. You know how I know how Mike might play the way that he plays it, so I might copy Mike and do it the same exact way. I might copy Dylan and play the way that he likes to play. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So you can just,
and like that the Mike's gonna be watching your push on the left, and like you can kind of focus on this area of the map and do your thing here.
You can
and
anticipate what your teammates are gonna do behind you, and a lot of times they're probably gonna calm it too. So it's only gonna make it easier. You know?
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. So. Yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a blast. Obviously, we went long, but it was a blast. So
I love talking.
Oh, dude, I'm always down. We can definitely do this again for sure. It's been real. Obviously, this is the time of the show where I roll out the red carpet for you. What do you got going on? What's going on this weekend? You stream anything else? What's going on?
I think we finally got the new setup and like the new apartment. So I think gonna finalize everything and just honestly get my head ready for Vanguard and just get on a consistent schedule and just try to do my thing and show people that, like, hey, I mean, I fought in my rookie year, but I still feel like I'm only getting better. So I want to show people that I'm capable of more, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Where can the people follow you?
Twitter at Standy with 3 A's. You know the vibe.
Yes, sir.
If you want to follow me on Twitch, Standy Kun, Standy Kun. Instagram, Eli Standy, Standy with 2 A's.
Boom.
So those are like all my socials. You want to shoot me a follow? I appreciate it. Shout out everyone watching the video. Let's get it.
Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir. We do appreciate it, obviously. Good vibes. This is 1v1 bro. Obviously, like I said, go follow Standy everywhere. Support the dude. He's absolutely insane. And support the Rokkr, man. This year, version 1, they're doing work out there. And they even sent me some nice gear, too. So they're goats. So you gotta appreciate that for sure. So
shout out version 1. Shout out Rokkr.
100%. But appreciate you guys for watching. Obviously, drop your comments down below. We want to hear what you guys have to say. How are you guys trying to make it happen this year? Go pro, hit some GBs, hit those ladders, dominate, fry down there. We love to see it. and let us know. So we appreciate that. Like, comment, subscribe, share it if you guys really enjoyed it. But as always, guys, I'm Josh, SalvationsElite, and we will see you next time. I'm out.